This is the 10 o'clock news.
Good evening, I'm Coran Mihalik. John is off tonight. The Woody Mia saga is not over yet. Tonight, the talk of the town is what happened at a custody hearing. Kyung Yoon has the latest on this emotional day in court.
Flanked by his lawyers, a smiling Woody Allen walked confidently into Manhattan Supreme Court less than 24 hours after being cleared of sexual abuse charges. In this round 2, Allen takes the stand for the first time in his custody battle with former lover Mia Farrow over 3 children, including 7-year-old Dylan, the focus of the abuse allegations. But Allen's testimony also centered around Farrow's 22-year-old adopted daughter, Suni, with whom Allen admits he has had an affair since December of 1991. When Judge Elliot Wilk asked Allen whether it ever occurred to him that he was sleeping with the sister of his children, Allen replied, quote, "I didn't see it that way. She was an adopted child. I had deep feelings for her. I never thought of it that way." Farrow gazed coldly at Allen throughout most of his testimony, but broke down when he detailed his affair with Suni. Allen also testified he had not slept with Farrow during the last 5 years of their 12-year relationship. He described how Farrow flew into a rage when she discovered nude photos of Suni in Allen's apartment, saying, quote, "She was beside herself with rage and anger. I said that I wanted to marry Suni, and she was alternately raging and ferocious with me."
But let's go with David. Tell
Fox 5 cameras caught Farrow and her attorney slipping out of the courthouse trying to dodge reporters. Meanwhile, Allen's lawyer had this to say.
We are ecstatic that Judge Wilk can try the case right away instead of waiting months, which we thought he would have to do. We are confident that after all the evidence is in, we will prevail at the custody hearing.
Allen will be back on the stand for more testimony and possibly cross-examination on Monday. Then it'll be Mia Farrow's turn to tell the judge her side of the story in this bitter and most public custody battle. Reporting from Manhattan Supreme Court, I'm Kyung Yoon, Fox News.
And a 2-week truce of sorts at the New York Post. Right now, you'll be ready to look at a live picture, there we are, of the Post building on South Street, where presses are ready to begin rolling on Saturday's paper. Christopher Jones tells us right now, Abe Hirschfeld sealed the latest deal with a kiss.
Yeah, what the hell? Don't encourage.
Can you do it again? Make some noise.
Call it the $600,000 kiss. For Pete Hamill, it means a $500,000 salary and a $100,000 expense account. For 701 employees of the New York Post, it means their jobs, but it may not mean true love.
Judge put us together, we listened, he put us together, and that's the best future for the Post.
It was quite a day in federal bankruptcy court, a day many had believed would be the first day of the final act of the 192-year-old drama that has been the New York Post. Just about all the players were on hand, and of course there was the man the court has been saying is in charge, Abe Hirschfeld, who until this afternoon has been labeled as loony by Pete Hamill, the editor installed by a rebellious Post staff who refused to obey Hirschfeld's orders. And there were the lawyers, scores of them, at one point inspiring the bankruptcy court judge to compare them to tag team wrestlers, each scrambling to get into the ring. For much of the day, it looked like Hirschfeld would prevail, and his choice as editor, Wilbert Tatum, known mainly for his defense of Tawana Brawley's hoax and his alleged anti-Semitism, would be installed over a Post staff in open revolt.
Some of the lawyers question whether there would be any advertising at the Post if you're co-publisher.
No comment.
But when the dust had settled, the court had worked out a deal, with the 2 former antagonists, Pete Hamill and Abe Hirschfeld, partners, with Abe all too willing to kiss and make up.
The Post lives forever.
We put it together, basically editorial autonomy. We have control of the city room, and we'll put out a newspaper like newspapermen should. He's the businessman, he'll run the business side.
But assuming $600,000 isn't enough of an incentive.
Hey, what is the real reason? Why are you doing this?
Basically so that we can get a couple of weeks of being able to show what we started out to do here before this all got so confused.
As for the Post employees, it's back to work. With Pete Hamill in charge, Abe Hirschfeld signing the checks, Wilbert Tatum essentially powerless, and maybe, just maybe, with that tear on Alexander Hamilton's face beginning to be replaced by a smile.
You called him crazy not so long ago. Have you changed your mind?
So what? I am crazy.
Look at him.
He said
Here's Exhibit A.
So just in case you thought you'd seen it all, apparently there has been a happy resolution to a story everybody thought would end with misery. Pete Hamill, who still apparently thinks his boss is crazy, working for a man who says he loves Pete. Only in New York. Christopher Jones, Fox News.
And prosecutors in New Jersey appealed to the state Supreme Court to revoke bail for 3 men convicted in the Glen Ridge, New Jersey sexual assault trial. The prosecutors say the young men face tough prison terms and might take off before they are sentenced next month. A decision on that appeal is expected on Tuesday. The 3 men could get to 40 years for sexually assaulting a mildly retarded girl. And the controversy is building in the case of Dr. Linus Kokoris. He is the Queens doctor who was shot and killed last month by police in Westchester County. An attorney for the doctor's family says new testing shows that Kokoris had no drugs or alcohol in his system at the time of the shooting. Police say Kokoris attacked 2 officers who approached him after he stopped his car in the middle of a street. A woman who told police she was brutally raped by an executive in her own company at a Manhattan hotel helped police get him in a sting operation. George Smith is in Soho right now with the latest on that story. George?
Well, Corinne, the sting operation took place here at the 211 restaurant on West Broadway. Police say the alleged rape actually took place about a month ago at a New York City hotel. Well, the victim in this case worked with police, and together they managed to capture the suspect talking about the incident on tape. The rape allegedly took place February 18th at the Omni Berkshire Place Hotel. 37-year-old Thomas Luchadori, who was staying here, met the 27-year-old woman for dinner at a restaurant inside the hotel. Both worked for Mitsubishi International in Pittsburgh and had come to New York for business. Police say the woman felt ill after dinner, and Luchadori offered her the use of a bathroom in his suite. Once inside the room, police allege Luchadori threw the woman down, tied her to the bed with his necktie, gagged her with a washcloth and her stockings, and brutally raped and sodomized her for 4 hours. After reporting the incident to police, the woman arranged to have dinner here at the 211 restaurant on Broadway.
She looked afraid. She looked nervous, very nervous. She was white as a ghost.
Police had bugged a table near the window and captured Luchadori apologizing to the victim on audio and videotape. No one in the restaurant was aware of the sting.
As soon as he walked outside, officers came pouring out of the van. They quickly started frisking him and they pushed him up against the railing. They handcuffed him.
Mitsubishi issued a statement after the arrest.
If what he's been accused of did happen, it's very appalling.
Luchadori is being charged with sodomy, kidnapping, and rape. He faces up to 25 years in prison if convicted. We understand that he is now free on a $100,000 bond. We're also told that he has been fired from Mitsubishi. That's the latest from here. Reporting live from Manhattan, I'm George Smith. Corianne, back to you.
Thank you very much, George. In other news, new hope for a peaceful end to that deadly standoff in Waco, Texas. Federal authorities spoke on the phone this morning with religious cult leader David Koresh, and the FBI says he sounds willing to work out a solution. However, he has disappointed negotiators in the past, as you know. And Koresh and his followers have been holed up at the religious compound since a gunfight with federal agents 3 weeks ago. Supreme Court Justice Byron White says after 31 years on the High Court, it's time to give somebody else a chance. He will retire this summer. Justice White will be remembered as a true conservative on issues like abortion and defendants' rights. The sports world remembers him also as Whizzer White, the college football All-American at the University of Colorado. With his retirement, President Clinton has a chance to tilt the court back toward the left. As Niles Latham tells us now, a list of candidates is being gathered.
President Clinton was on his way to Atlanta, Georgia to stump for his economic plan when Justice Byron White announced his retirement.
I did not anticipate having the opportunity to make an appointment at this early stage, so we don't have a big bank of potential nominees. I'll go to work on it tomorrow.
Supreme Court nominations have proved to be defining moments for presidents. As he toured a child development center, the president hinted he wants someone who is pro-choice on abortion and someone who will act as a counterbalance to conservatives on the High Court.
He does have a different view of the Constitution than perhaps other presidents have, and I think that will be reflected in his appointment.
On the campaign trail, candidate Clinton mentioned one name.
I think Governor Cuomo would be a good Supreme Court justice.
Cuomo was in Albany, refusing comment. Others figuring prominently in early speculation, Harvard legal scholar Lawrence Tribe and Arkansas Circuit Court Judge Richard Arnold. Also on the short list, Federal Appeals Court Judge Patricia Wald, whom Clinton unsuccessfully tried to persuade to become his Attorney General. Children's Defense Fund President Marian Wright Edelman is also a favorite of the influential Hillary wing of the White House. But she says she's not interested.
I am doing what the Lord put me on this earth to do. I want to be a full-time voice for children. I am happy with what I do. I would never go inside government in any role.
White House officials say the president intends to take his time. Justice White won't step down until the end of his term, giving the president 6 months to carefully select this nominee. Niles Latham, Fox News in Atlanta, Georgia.
And still ahead on the 10 o'clock news, the Long Island woman who police say followed in Amy Fisher's footsteps all the way to jail. An exclusive interview with the brother of one of the men charged with bombing the World Trade Center.
I'm 100% sure that my brother is innocent, and I'm sure that he wouldn't do such a thing because he's the one that takes care of us in the house. And plus he has a pregnant wife, and I don't think he'll do that thing.
Also, exclusive pictures of Eddie Murphy's wedding at the Plaza Hotel. We're coming right back.
There is no.
No, 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 no.
Because Dodge's no money down days are going strong right now. Get a new Dodge Caravan at a low, low price. With no money down, no waiting, and no payments till July. Who can say no, no, no to that?
No, 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 no.
Dodge's no money down days with no payments till July. Hurry, we can't wait to say no.
For the first time, some of those rounded up in the investigation of the World Trade Center bombing are talking. They say the man believed by some to be the bomb builder is an innocent victim. Christopher Jones has this exclusive report.
All of us were sleeping at the time, and all I heard is the door broke, and they came in, they arrested everybody in the house.
Razik Ayad is the younger brother of Nidal Ayad, who was charged in connection with the infamous World Trade Center bombing. Razik was arrested but later released.
I'm 100% sure that he's innocent, and he has nothing to do with that.
Razik spoke exclusively with Fox interviewer Daphne Barak. He described the suspect as a good husband to a new bride and a dutiful son.
He's a very caring person. He always takes care of us and asks if we need any kind of help. He helped me do my schoolwork, and that's it. He's a very intelligent guy. I think it's a mistake that just because he's a friend of the suspect that they arrested.
But authorities charged Nidal Ayad, a chemical engineer, with aiding and abetting Mohammed Salameh, the first man arrested for the bombing. They claim the two men even shared a New Jersey bank account.
Do you know Mohammed Salameh?
No, I just saw him a couple of times. He came over to congratulate my brother on his marriage, and that's it. That's the time I saw him.
Authorities claim another link between the two men is a Jersey City mosque where a radical Muslim cleric, Sheikh Omar Abdul Rahman, preaches.
That sheikh, I never heard about him until they show him on TV. And I don't think my brother knew him either. We're just normal Muslim people. We're not fanatics.
Just a few months ago, Nidal celebrated his wedding to a young Jordanian woman. Fox News has obtained exclusively these pictures of Ayad with his 18-year-old bride, Reem. She is now pregnant with their first child. Their marriage was arranged by his mother, who went to Jordan to make sure Reem was suitable for the family. They are now trying to free him on bail, and they visit him as often as possible.
I'm 100% sure that my brother is innocent, and I'm sure that he wouldn't do such a thing because he's the one that takes care of us in the house. And plus he has a pregnant wife, and I don't think he'll do that.
Christopher Jones, Fox News.
A top investigator privately is saying it may not be a good idea to quickly give the boot to Sheikh Omar Abdel Rahman. A judge ordered him deported, but a source in the bombing investigation says if that happens, officials never may be able to prosecute him if they do find evidence linking him to the bombing plot. He denies any involvement. Meantime, a man wanted for questioning in the bombing is still missing. His name is Mohammed Abu Lamia. And the FBI agents searched his apartment in Woodbridge, New Jersey for evidence they might link him to the crime. Residents say they do not know much about Abu Lima, but the agents have been very thorough in their search.
Coming out and going in with suitcases all day long. I mean, big ones, little ones.
What kind of complex? Is it a lot of people?
It's a lot of throughway. Like, a lot of people come and go. There's nobody that really stays here for any length of time. A lot of plates are from out of state, mainly New York.
Authorities believe that Abu Lima has fled the U.S. Well, back to work today for thousands of staffers at No. 2 World Trade Center. The Port Authority reopened floors 42 through 102. Every floor was cleaned and scrubbed, and any damage caused by the bombing was repaired. It is the first step in a 5-phase plan to get things back to normal at the Twin Towers. John Cardinal O'Connor offered a massive Thanksgiving for the survivors of the Trade Center bombing. The mayor attended that service held in the chapel at St. Vincent's Hospital. Many of the people seriously injured in the bombing were treated at that hospital's trauma center. The story of a 2-year-old baby boy attacked by a pit bull stunned a Brooklyn neighborhood. But tonight, there is a strange new twist to that story, as Gail Anderson found out.
I don't care how good the dog is. A pit bull shouldn't be allowed in the United States, anywhere, because it's a dangerous dog.
Anthony Calvaca sat dazed and wounded in his Bellevue hospital bed, wife Christine at his side, as they both recounted the horror of the Thursday afternoon attack of a stray pit bulldog, first on their pet collie, Queenie, then on their 2.5-year-old son, Anthony Jr.
The dog attacked first over here, and it went down to the skull, to the bone. And it was very deep, and he was bleeding from there. He has wounds up here, little wounds up here, all over his face, and his lip was severed. Not completely taken off, but a part of it was severed and it was like hanging.
Calvaca says he managed to remove the dog from his son's face. Then the dog attacked him, biting the unemployed deli clerk on his left thigh.
It felt like the dog was just going to rip my leg off.
I thought that dog was going to kill my son right then and there.
Fortunately, the dog didn't. Doctors report son and father are fine and will be released from the hospital Saturday. Investigators say they don't understand how the stray dog could have gotten inside this building, especially when you consider the dog would have had to pass not one, but 2 heavy doors. And at this second door, a resident would have to buzz you so you could get inside. Well, by late this afternoon, police say Calvaca confessed the pit bulldog that attacked him, his son and the family dog, was not a stray, but a new family pet bought Thursday for $20 from a pet center in Queens. The police investigation continues. Calvaca could face charges for filing a false report, as well as animal cruelty charges, because the dog was put to death, fearing it might have had rabies. The health department says it did not. Gail Anderson, Fox News.
17 U.S. senators say it's time that the FBI get involved in the battle over abortion. The senators called on the agency to investigate what they say is a pattern of violence and harassment at abortion clinics, including the recent murder of a doctor in Florida. But the FBI says it is powerless to do anything under current policies. The Bush administration ruled that anti-abortion activity does not violate federal law. A college student who supposedly used Amy Fisher as a role model found she was a very bad example. Donna Hanover reports.
Was Amy Fisher the inspiration for a budding prostitution business on Long Island? 23-year-old Renata Sugamanyan of Oceanside is out on $250 bail for prostitution.
After seeing the Amy Fisher television movies, she got the idea that operating and running an escort service would be a quick way of making a lot of money.
This is the East Bay Diner in Oceanside, where Renata allegedly handed out this 3-page flyer describing very vividly sexual services for sale. This undercover detective responded to the flyer after one diner customer complained.
I went to the house as a prospective client. I told her I was interested in what she had to offer.
Renata was only speaking through her door. She said her 2-week-old business was only an escort service offering friendship and companionship, and that the cops were wrong.
He broke me down. It was entrapment. We are a legitimate business with no sex.
no sex.
This winter, 3 TV networks aired movies about Amy Fisher, who pleaded guilty to assault in the shooting of Mary Jo Buttafuoco, the wife of her alleged lover. Fisher said she had prostituted herself at Joe Buttafuoco's suggestion. Renata denied the Amy Fisher comparison, but had definite opinions on the case.
I thought that she should never have shot Mary Jo. That was a big mistake.
There were also reports that Renata solicited students at Hofstra University, where she's a student, to work in an escort business.
Everybody's pretty much in a big shock about it, and I'm not sure if too many people actually believe it either, because there's really been no signs of it.
The dean of students has talked often with Renata and said there was no vice racket.
She's a quiet, gentle, I think from time to time confused young woman.
In their quiet neighborhood, residents said Renata's parents are hardworking immigrants from Russia, but Renata has a different reputation.
She can get crazy about things, but I really don't know what,
And what would lead people to that kind of conclusion?
Well, I think she forced an accident once. That's what I heard.
In fact, Renata is on probation for vehicular assault. Like Amy Fisher's family, Renata's tried to avoid the press. Didn't you see the ending on the Amy Fisher movies?
She indicated to us that she didn't want to go to jail.
In Oceanside, Long Island, I'm Donna Hanover, Fox News.
And still ahead, 86 million reasons why you should try to get your hands on a Florida lottery ticket. And that lovable purple dinosaur called Barney is at the center of a controversy. We'll be right back.
In the heart of the city is a small town called Tribeca, where people live their lives one unforgettable story at a time. And the unexpected waits around every corner. Tuesday, executive producer Robert De Niro will take you there. When the sun comes up tomorrow. Tribeca.
Tuesday at 9 on Fox 5.
My daughter, she's going to college. She needs a car. So we talked. She wanted this, she wanted that, she wanted ABS brakes. She's a very bright girl. So she looked. And she found a new Subaru Impreza. Well, I can't talk to her about a car, because I'm usually the cynic. But this Impreza left me speechless. So now I say things like, aren't you glad I told you about the new Impreza? And she says, Dad, you're employing revisionist history. Like I said, she's a very bright girl.
MCI's Friends Around the World has been the lowest priced international call you can make to any one number to over 200 places around the world. Now MCI announces an extra 20% savings to 2 numbers. They'll be the lowest priced international calls you can make. Call MCI. Over the years, using us to call outside the country could save you hundreds upon hundreds of dollars.
One of the most important jobs that there is teaching kids, and I value what I do. Most of the teachers I know work very hard. I want a fair contract, one that shows that teachers are valued, one that attracts teachers to the New York City school system, because I think our kids deserve the best teachers that are out there. If the mayor of this city really cared about teachers and the kids that we serve, then we would get a contract, and we would get it now.
Tonight's business report brought to you by the Cadillac Tri-Statesmen of New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut.
Wall Street is littered with the memories of investors who bought with their hearts instead of their heads. A prudent investor pays attention to fundamentals. It is those fundamentals that make leasing a 1993 Cadillac DeVille so attractive now.
Lease the special edition, only $449 a month, including $1,490 in options.
See your Cadillac Tri-Statesman. For once, you can follow your heart and do right by your head.
$25,000 lottery tickets are being sold every minute in Florida. The jackpot is $86 million, but that is not a record. In fact, it ranks 6th in the nation's biggest lottery jackpots. But that did not stop one man dubbed the Phantom from buying 60,000 tickets. The drawing is tomorrow night. And a mixed day on Wall Street. The Dow Jones closed up almost 6 points, but losers edged out winners in heavy trading. A price share was down 13 cents on the big board, up 3 cents on the American. The Nasdaq Composite closed down almost 5 points. However, this week, there were more smiles than frowns on Wall Street. That and more in tonight's Fox Business News Report. It's been a hectic week on Wall Street, but an up one. In the past 5 days, the Dow Jones Industrials have surged ahead almost 50 points. Most analysts say the improving economy and falling interest rates are fueling the surge, and they are optimistic about the direction in which stocks are headed.
I continue to think the market's going to stabilize and move to new highs, and I think that'll be enhanced by better corporate profits and lower interest rates.
Blockbuster Entertainment is on the rise. The company recently purchased Pieces of Spelling Entertainment, a TV production company, and Republic Pictures, a feature filmmaker. The acquisitions are part of Blockbuster's plan to create their own cable channel. Budweiser is set to brew its beer in the land of the rising sun. The company has inked a deal with Kirin Beer to open a brewery in Asia. It is the first time an American beer company will actually make their beer in Japan. Normally, they just ship it there. Finally, the blizzard of the century has salt miners in Cleveland down in the dumps, literally. Since Saturday, they have been working nonstop, mining and shipping rock salt to cities all across the East Coast. The miners say they have not been this busy since 1970. And that's the Fox Business News for Friday, March 19th. Barney, the purple dinosaur, is a huge hit with children. But some parents have a bone to pick with the public TV stations that carry his show. Many stations are offering toys based on Barney as an incentive to donate. One station on Long Island offers a Barney puppet for a $100 donation. Critics say they are targeting children for a hard sell. Still ahead, what would Friday be without Carl's Plays of the Week? Plus, let's be perfectly clear, the 90s are the see-through decade. Then we'll take you inside Eddie Murphy's wedding with exclusive photos. And Robin talks with Anna Nicole Smith, a young hot model who has taken the industry by storm. Will stay that way for at least a week. It is a special tribute to actress Helen Hayes, who died on Wednesday. The county normally only lowers the flags to honor public officials, but it's making an exception this time, of course. Hayes lived in Nyack and was known as the county's most famous resident. Still ahead, Robin talks with a hot new model for Guess Jeans, plus Phil's weekend forecast. You may want to make a quick trip to Studio City, California. That is where Roseanne is holding a two-day garage sale. She is selling costumes from the show as well as her own clothing. All the proceeds will be used to fund programs for victims of sexual abuse. And now we welcome Phil's back from vacation. He's got a little tan, I noticed, from the slopes.
Right on the tip of the nose.
Just in time for spring tomorrow morning.
Yep, it arrives tomorrow morning, first day of spring. It's finally here. You would never, ever imagine it by today's weather. Only the mid-30s. Our normal high is 49 degrees. By tomorrow, our average high is 50. But it is true, tomorrow spring begins, 9:41. That's when the sun appears directly above the equator. All winter long, it's been shining in the southern hemisphere. Slowly every day, the direct rays have been hitting a little bit farther north. And beginning tomorrow, the sun will start to hit, at least directly, in the northern hemisphere all the way through to the first day of summer. All right, let's talk about what we had today. We got up to only 34 degrees for a high temperature. That's after a very chilly start of 15. That's no record, though. Our record low is 8 degrees, set back in 1967. Right now, with mostly clear skies, a very chilly night. Again, probably not as cold as last night, but it's still only 27 degrees, humidity 66%, and we have an east wind at 6 miles per hour. Satellite view does show an area of clouds just to our west. It's beginning to move in here. I think we'll start to see the clouds really increase during the day tomorrow, but the sun will be able to shine through those clouds until tomorrow night. Not a major system, so even though we could see a rain or snow shower tomorrow evening into tomorrow night, I don't think we're going to see anything of any real significance. This just isn't a real powerhouse of a storm. Most of the energy with it, matter of fact, will head up into Canada and northern New England during the day tomorrow. This is the leading edge of some cooler air, and that's why we're expecting perhaps a rain or snow shower tomorrow night. Again, as I said, nothing heavy. Cooler air behind it, some thunderstorms down here in Louisiana and eastern Texas, and that's just about it. Kind of a quiet setting. Temperatures tomorrow a little bit warmer than they were today. We'll get probably into the low to mid 40s. You'll have to get way upstate to see highs in the 30s, 50s, and 60s, though holding to our south 50s as close to us as Atlantic City. All right, our forecast for the overnight period calls for generally clear skies, cold conditions still, low temperature about 23, mid-teens once you get a little bit farther inland. During the day tomorrow, we'll have dim sunshine. We'll have the high thin clouds, but the sun should be able to shine through those clouds with highs of 40 to 45. As we look ahead for the next 5 days, kind of a quiet weather pattern. Temperatures still averaging a little bit below average, but generally the 40s. Next chance of any significant precip probably coming about Wednesday. So overall, not a bad forecast coming up, Coran. We'll get to see a little bit of sun and temperatures getting back into the 40s. Cor?
Ah, spring, right, Phil?
It's here, finally here. Now we need some spring-like weather.
That's right. Thanks very much. Well, a new hot model is turning heads, and what a wedding last night at the Plaza Hotel. Eddie Murphy finally said I do in front of a lot of Hollywood biggies. Robin joins us now with some exclusive pictures, right, Robin? I think a lot of people just can't believe he did it.
I know. Mr. and Mrs. Eddie Murphy. Takes some getting used to, but we can tell you they are now honeymooning at an undisclosed location. So you didn't get an invitation to the wedding, huh? How about an inside peek? Despite the massive security, A Current Affair managed to get exclusive video inside the wedding ceremony in the grand ballroom of the Plaza Hotel. Here's how it looked as the bride and groom walked down the aisle with their baby daughter, Bria. We understand that the wedding cake stood 9 tiers tall, Eddie's favorite number 9, and the celebrities like Bill Murray and Bruce Willis partied until the wee hours. Finally, this afternoon, Eddie and his new wife finally emerged from the Plaza Hotel. There they are.
Congratulations, Eddie. Have anything to say for us?
Yeah, man. Very happy. Yo.